Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam.
All praises to the Allah. I was like, what is going on? So, so you know what? Because you know, you don't people, but people do not prioritize your time like their time. I was like, you understand. But anyway, but I always said there's always unforeseen circumstances. So, assalamu alaikum. This is Clifton Raheem Bradley again. This is the recap. And the thing is, I have a brother on air. This is being streamed on Facebook, uh, YouTube, and other social media platforms. But I have a brother on that I have been wanting to get on for you. And you know what? But the thing is, it don't happen in our time. It happened to us. But brother,
Mhm.
assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak.
Wa alaikum salam, Ramadan Kareem.
Yes. And yeah, you know what, y'all, and you know what, I want to know, and the people want to know because there are people looking on YouTube. First of all, what's your name, and give me a brief introduction of yourself, brother, please.
Okay. LaRon Marks, aka Ron Salam. I'm a philanthropist, entrepreneur. I do many of things. I wear many hats, construction management. I deal a little in the entertainment realm. My background DJing and producing, had a record label. I've been all over the country, everywhere. So I did a lot of things, and uh, sold apparel, clothing, and stuff like that of that nature.
Hmm.
You
Give,
know?
give a shout out there to Red Ross.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Oh, Rossi.
he,
Mm-hmm.
he's a good brother.
Oh yeah.
And you know what, brother? When we talk about the subject matter of Islam,
Mm-hmm.
what I would like to know is, did you start out in the church? And if so, what church?
No, not really. My background. I came from a Baptist family. Okay, my grandmother.
Hmm.
Okay,
What's her name?
Georgia Marks.
Okay.
Georgia Marks, and my mom, she believed in God, but she didn't. She wasn't quite, you know, convinced in terms of her really getting what she was into church like that. So she allowed me and my sister to go if we wanted to or not, and I went at times and to her church. It was on 71st and something when I was living on the west side. So a lot of the things I
What
saw in the huh
side? What side? Go
yeah,
ahead.
a lot of things I saw in the church. It was like, in terms of me, it was a lot of scandal going on, and I seen a lot of hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I saw a lot of hypocrisy at her church, and it was just like I said, this ain't they not, in terms of worshiping God, depending on the hustle that I seen and what I come from, it was like, so I just kind of backed off from it until my calling, I would say.
So that was the overall motivating factor that determined that you was not going to follow the Trinity. That was the
Exactly.
number one factor.
Exactly. So, I always had that God sense in me. I remember at an age probably about 11, where I just had some kind of epiphany or something that was just like God said, start praying or something, but I had no denomination, you know what I'm saying? So I always believed I followed the Christians, no disrespect. And then I followed them. And then I was on the journey of finding what was for me, from them to studying with the Israelites and, then
And
Islam.
I mean, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what wound up happening, I heard a brother, matter of fact, I was at a friend of mine's house in high school,
Mhm.
and he was listening to a Farrakhan tape. And that's what really drew me. Never heard a black man speak like that before. You know what I'm saying? It was radical during the time, you know what I'm saying? But never heard a black man speak unapologetic like he did, you know? And that drew me in. And I followed the nation, Malcolm.
Yes.
And by the time I was 23, I wound up taking my Shahada as an Orthodox Muslim over at Fatir, Al Fatir.
Yes.
You
And Alpha Chair, for people that do not know, that don't live in Chicago, it's at 47th and Woodlawn in Chicago.
hmm
At that address, right?
Yeah,
Imam's name is Omar.
yeah.
Okay. And I'd like to ask you, you know what, when you made that transition
hmm
from Christianity, okay, to a certain degree, what was your family's reaction? What did they think when this epiphany came on you, man? You stopped eating pork, you stopped you smoking cigarettes. I'm just using that example. What was
Yeah.
your family's reaction?
Well, during the time, you know, my mom, well, she always was a supporter of me. And
What
at
was your mother's name?
Catherine March Walker.
Okay.
She's deceased though now, been
Yeah.
deceased for some years. So
Yes.
what wound up happening, you know, when I decided, I just one day I just was over by for Al Fatir, and I just walked up in there, and I wound up taking my shahada, you know.
What is
And
Shahada? Somebody doesn't know what Shahada. Somebody out there, you know, what this investigating Islam, they have no idea what is Shahada. Go ahead.
my your declaration to Islam,
Hmm.
you know, it's a declaration saying that you believe in Allah and His Prophet, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You
Yes.
know, so I made my declaration. I was very I'm gonna say I wasn't that educated in Islam, but I knew that it was for me. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, Allah chooses Muslims. So
Yes.
you know, with my family, you know, like I said, traditionally Christian family, I wind
Yes.
up my mom, like I said, all of a sudden, because I used to eat pork every day, all day, from the for what they say, from the rooter to the tutor. You know what I'm
Alhamdulillah.
saying? I love bacon, all that stuff. So it became my mom used to cook on the weekends, breakfast and stuff. So I had to pull away from the bacon and all that, and they used to be like making fun of me. I said, "Man, make me a hamburger patty." And she know when I'm dedicated to something, I'm gonna dedicate myself. So
Yes.
before my mom passed, what was so, you know, she wanted to know what I was getting into. So she came to Fatir. Allah allow her
Alhamdulillah.
to come
Alhamdulillah.
to Fatir and sit during different sessions or whatever. And she was just like, you know, and even my pops, and he was a street guy before he passed. He went
What was your father's name?
Michael Walker.
Okay. All
Let's
right.
call him Big Mike, a truck. A lot of people
Big
know.
Mike. Okay.
Yeah, Big
Okay.
Mike. He was a big guy. So, you know what I'm saying? So my mom came and sat down with us, and she was interested, very interested, you know what I'm saying, before she passed, because she wound up passing a few years after that, you know what I'm saying? But
Did
she had,
she happen to take Shahada?
no, she never took her Shahada, but she came to the masjid at least a few times, though, to see what
Wow.
I was getting into. And Allah was letting her know that I was going to be all right, you know, because I was
Yes.
in the streets, you know. So,
Hmm.
yeah, from there on out, I had my journey with Islam from right after I took my Shahada. For Tir went they closed down for a while for renovation.
Yes.
So it was like I didn't know what to do or where to go. I didn't even know about Juma prayers on Fridays and none of that. I wound up going back to the streets for about 7 years. I
Hmm.
went back to the streets for 7 years exactly. And I remember riding past there, past Fatil when they reopened. And I felt like, man, I'm like, man, I don't feel right. I feel dirty because I'm out here paneling in these streets or whatever. And, I asked a lot. So one day I remember coming home to my girlfriend, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember her fussing with me, one of my baby mamas actually. And I was in the streets hustling real tough. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
look, I was like, I said to Allah, I said, look, you got to take me away from this. And
Yes.
15 minutes later, I got arrested, and that was my journey back to Islam. When I was in the Cook County.
Where'd you go to Statesville or
No,
county jail?
I never went to the joint. I was in the county, and I
Cook
wound
County.
up. Oh yeah, I was in Cook County jail. I was bringing brothers together. We was praying
Mm-hmm.
together from all the factions. There was a lot of disruption between the officers. They didn't want to see it, you know what I'm saying, going on. So they tried everything they could to bust up, Muslim services and different stuff like that. But they knew I was adamant, and that stopped a lot of the gang wars and stuff. Brothers was praying together, trying to get back home to their families, and you know what I'm saying. So we wind up, praying every day and on our, deck or whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
from there, I learned how to pray properly. I learned my Arabic, you know what I'm saying, the whole nine. So
Good.
yeah, and this case that I was facing, it was a pretty heavy case. I was looking at the lease was 10 years, and you know, wind up getting boot camp. Wind up getting boot camp by the
Yeah.
grace of God, by the grace of Allah, because they was like the least they'd do for me was 9 years during that particular time, and I wound
Yes.
up doing boot camp, completed that, wound up being a top cook in boot camp, and they wound up trying to hire me to work there for the county. But then
Wow.
they wind up having to doing cutbacks or whatever, so it was a seniority thing. So they was like, well, we can't hire you then, you
I,
know.
brother. I'd like to ask you, when you made the decision and made this transformation. I imagine. I know you have a lot of friends. Were there a whole lot of friends that you had to leave it alone because in Islam, I think it says in the Quran, it says, "Do not make the unbelievers your bosom buddy." In the Quran, I'm saying bosom buddy, are close companions and friends. Did you
hmm
have to leave it alone a lot of people because they giving dawah, are you giving dawah? I'm asking.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing about it was Allah showed me who was who. You know what I'm saying? So it was certain people that that was my so-called friends that left me hanging when I was in a world of trouble, and so Allah showed those people hands to me, so it wasn't a whole lot I had to do. Like if I had a inclination about someone, Allah would show me, because he gonna make sure that he protect you from your enemies.
Well, yeah.
So
Let me ask you in a different way. Do you agree with that in the Quran that it says that you should not make the non-believe non-believers your close companions? Do you agree with that in the Quran or just?
yeah, I believe it. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point they don't know what you know and don't believe what you believe, and certain people might have certain ill feelings about that situation, and in certain different instances it might come out, and that's what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that you don't have nobody that's non-believer that's your friend, but to a degree though, even I done seen it even within family, that some people, cause of they don't understand, but that's up to Allah to get them the understanding of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
And
he,
go ahead.
just like he said, they won't stop until they make you an unbeliever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
people laugh and they talk and this, that, and the other, because they know they out there, wrong. And then they want to pull you back in that wrongness. You know what I'm saying? So that goes on every day.
You know, when you first came into Islam, before you came into Islam, what were some of the misconceptions that you had about Islam, or you just didn't know anything about it?
Well, you know what? The neighborhood that I came from, right? I remember, um, the thing in my neighborhood where I grew up at was the village, called the village over by Jewtown, over on Roosevelt, over that way.
Mhm.
And, you know, it was about being tough and, you know what I'm saying, the toughest guys, the guy that celebrated. So, I grew up around there, my family, a lot of my father, uncles, all kind of, people was into those things. So I remember as a youngster, looking at some people, a couple families that had knowledge of themselves. But
Yes.
during the time, and these were some Israelites, they weren't even Muslim, but this wound up opening my eyes up to broader things because, we was laughing at some of these people. They was dressing up in African garb and, you know,
Yeah.
and that wasn't common in the neighborhood. We laughing at them like, like, oh, look at them. They trying to be African or this, that, and the other, and didn't even realize that we was African. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes. Yes.
we were some subculture group, they call us black. Like that was something different. And from there, it went on. I wind up seeing other things on the way, and it was a light bulb just went off. And
Yes.
like I said, from the thing of trying to going to church and seeing a lot of the hypocrisy at my grandmother's church. You know what I'm saying? It was just like I said, something out there for me. This ain't it right here. So, Allah guided me, like I said, until that one day I walked up in Fatir and took my
Yes.
shahada. And, from there, I've been on the journey from there on out.
Yeah, and there are people like Muhammad Ali. Let
Yeah,
me see, and
big
who
inspiration,
helped to
man.
build a mosque on 47th
Yeah,
and Woodlawn. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Mike Tyson. You know what they have said that Islam has changed my life. How has Islam impacted and changed your life? Can you share that with the audience?
yeah, in a very, very big way. You know, it was
Tell us some of the things that how it has changed your life, please.
well the way I perceive life from the way I used to perceive life. It was a thing where you know, coming up from an adolescent, everybody want to be the top this or the top that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, where I was from, it was about who was the toughest or who was the baddest, or you know what I'm saying. And
Mhm.
I always had love for my people for one. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I wouldn't kick nobody down in the dirt, you know what I'm saying, because
yeah,
they was down. So that I always had that in me. I came from good people, that had sympathy for others. If they had a piece of bread there, give you half of the bread, without even knowing you. You know what I'm saying? And that was
yes,
one thing that I got from my grandmother, my mom, and the rest of my family. They was some giving good people. And that just, as I grew, like I said, and then when I was really introduced to Islam, it was just like, wow, this is a whole big world out here.
yes,
A lot of people don't get out of that box that they in from their upbringing, neighborhoods, like the projects and, you know what I'm
yes,
saying? These little
yeah,
small what 2 mile radius or 1 mile radius, and a lot of people never escape the mindset.
yes,
And my mind wound up meeting other brothers on the international level, brothers from all over the world, and you know
bless it, bless it.
exploring and doing business and other things, and just seeing how other people live, and you know what I'm saying. It made a real big difference in my life. It opened me up to a broader horizon, so to say.
Yes, and you know what? As we For the individuals that are just tuning in, you're looking at the Underground Railroad podcast, and we're talking about a gentleman, man, brother that had made his conversion from another religion to Islam, and we're sharing that to you and giving dawah to you, inviting you to Islam, not to force you to come to Islam, because Islam, there's no compulsion in Islam, but we would pray that you would investigate Islam and eventually come into it. But there's no compulsion in Islam. You know what? So this is the Underground Railroad, and the thing is, we come on every Saturday night at 10:30 in Chicago, but we come on YouTube 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I have Ron Salam with me. And you know what, Ron? I'd like to ask you that
Mhm.
I would like to discuss the 5 pillars of Islam. Okay.
Okay.
The 5 pillars of Islam. I think the first is Shahada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And after that, your salats, zakat,
Mm-hmm.
fasting, and Hajj. I would like to ask you, um, starting with Shahada, the news media, the
Mm-hmm.
news media has done everything they can to try to extinguish the truth of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Why would the news media try to say negative and hateful things about Islam if the first pillar of Islam is Shahada? And can you elaborate on that? And with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
question, and you tell the people a recap of what Shahada means?
Shahada means you making your declaration to Allah, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.
Mhm.
You making your declaration. And the thing about it is this: what I see with the media, a lot of people are trained thinkers. This is what I learned. There's a lot of other stuff going on in the world right now as we speak. And a lot of people can't, they so trained minded that they can't see beyond what they've been trained to either think or train to look for versus having a mind of their own. So with that, a lot of people I see that don't know about Islam, they fear it, you know,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's for the worst for them because Islam is a beautiful thing. It's complete from A to Z. You know what I'm saying? Allah didn't leave nothing out when it comes to Islam in terms of etiquette, everything. You know, it's nothing like we have one general prayer, which is the Fatiha. You know what I'm saying? Unlike other groups where they could make up different prayers and not every Muslim must pray the Fatiha. That's the
Yeah.
basic general, like he said.
Mhm.
And what you was about to say. So
No, I'm listening to you. See this classroom? You're educating the classroom behind me, brother. Go ahead.
yeah, so the etiquette, he made etiquette in everything you do as a human being. What the Quran is a guide. It's just like when you buy a TV or a refrigerator, they give you a guide how to work it. And that's what the Holy Quran is for man and womankind, is to be able to navigate through life in terms of not guessing everything. He laying it out for you. Like you know, over time, you could never learn everything in that Holy Quran. You could learn something every time you read it. I've seen several scientists wind up taking their shahadas after them discovering certain things that they've been looking for hundreds of years and going to the Quran and Allah explains it. Matter of fact, I was just talking to a young lady the other day and she was saying, yeah, oh, I seen a thing where these two waters meet, but they don't mix. And I said, that's in the Holy Quran. Allah explains that. And it's like a force field. One of them, he said, is sweet, and the other one is salty, meaning salt water and fresh water, and they don't
Yes.
mix. It's an invisible line. He said, you know what I'm saying? And then the fish don't even cross each side. That's and he's showing you his might. That's a part of him showing you, because a lot of people say they want to see their God. You can see your God, you just don't see him physically like you could look at me, but you see him what he's in. Like he said, every year you see these the grass and these trees die,
Yes.
and then I bring it back to life. So he said, I could create you once, I could create you 1,000 times. And people thinking like, that they're gonna do something slick. You're not bigger than God.
Yes.
You got this all figured out.
Brother Ron Salam, I like to show that the people, if Islam is evil and a hateful
No,
religion,
never that.
why would Mike Tyson become a Muslim?
Yeah, no.
One of Jeremy Jackson, Snoop Dogg. I didn't even know he was a Muslim.
Yeah, a
Okay,
lot of people are afraid of what they don't know. So,
Muhammad Ali. I'm gonna go
mhm,
down these names, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Ice
yeah.
Cube. Janet
Oh,
Jackson, she used to be, but you know what? And David Chappelle. You know
yeah,
what? So if it's so evil, why would they come to
yeah.
Islam? I like to address the next pillar of Islam. If it's the news media attacks, why would the news media attacks the second pillar of Islam is making our prayers? Can you tell what prayers we have to make, and why would the news media savagely attack Islam? And we
Okay.
pray 5 times a day.
Like I said, because they don't understand. They thinking because of what they've been taught or what they learned, that what they taught and learned is right, and the people among the Muslim faith is like fanatics or something like that to that degree, because we pray 5 times a day, and that's not the case. Like I said, don't know or have a real understanding. Most of the time, they just go off of something what they heard somebody else saying. You know,
Hmm.
we all are on a lifeline, by Allah, by God, Allah. We all are on the lifeline. So why wouldn't you praise the one that give you breath? You couldn't survive a second without it. You know what I'm saying? If he decides to cut your lifeline off, ain't nothing you can do. Ain't nobody can help you. Plenty of times we see that throughout life when people, our loved ones, be taken away from us. Ain't nothing you could do but just honor it. That's all. You can cry and scream and kick, but when he send that angel of death for you, they coming to collect them souls, man. And it's
Yes.
real.
And,
It's real.
and alhamdulillah. And why would the news media and social media make vicious and malicious attacks against Islam, and y'all pay zakat? That is the third pillar of Islam. First of all, what is zakat, and why would you attack people that are paying zakat to the people that are needy? Can you explain what zakat is?
Yeah, well, zakat is charity, and it's a lot of selfish people out here in this world. This world has turned to me, me, me. I understand people want nice things and want to feel good about themselves, but like Allah said, He said it's people in this world that that's worse off than and he give the ones that are fortunate the ability to get blessings of helping those people. You understand what
Yes.
I'm saying? And that's the misnomer where people don't understand. People think, and then this a thing too. Like I know some very rich people, and some people have it in their minds that they bless, but like Allah said, whatever I give you is a test.
Hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? You might be worth $50 million or $100 million and don't help nobody.
Yes.
You thinking that you blessed, but your test, you probably have failed that test. And then sometimes, like to do certain things, I notice people sacrifice their morality and entertainment and
Hmm.
other parts of business where You know, they sacrifice their morality to have it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and usually they said that right there, what you got, the devil helped you get it. You know, and don't even know. You know, because a lot of people that the things that they do, you know, that's immoral. They could do all the immoral stuff because they got money. It paints a picture like, oh, this person blessed because he got all this
Mm-hmm.
money. You know what I'm saying? But that's why a lot of people that do have all that money, a lot of times be very unhappy. You know, a lot of people don't know. And I remember looking at Jim Carrey. He said, I wish every poor person had the
Yes.
chance to be rich, and they'll really find out that it ain't all what it's cut out to
Yes.
be. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people be lonely. A lot of people, you know, wind up hurting or killing themselves a lot of times. Not to say ain't nothing wrong with having money, but the fact of the money, the matter when you just gorge in stuff
Yeah.
like that, you know, and not like you said in terms of zakat, in terms of helping the poor. I've been watching like this Ramadan. You know what's going on over there in Palestine, Afghanistan, Kenya, a lot of parts of the world where people don't have the basic necessities, and this culture, this younger culture, they are obsessed. A lot of them are obsessed in showing you that they could waste money and throw money away when it's like, man, $10 will make a big difference in some of these unfortunate people's lives. You know what I'm saying? I done watch people burn money. I'm like, man, y'all
Crazy.
really don't understand what this life is about, man. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, other thing is there are people out there that demonize and hate
Yeah, yeah,
Islam.
yeah.
And you know what? And y'all fast. You go through Ramadan for 29 or 30 days, depending on the lunar cycle, but they hate it. Okay, because these seeds have been deposited all over the globe. What is Ramadan? What does it represent? And why do they hate people that are praying and sacrificing for 30 or 29 days? Why do they hate, and what is Ramadan?
Well, Ramadan is showing your declaration as well to Allah, your commitment, because Allah said fasting is for Him. You know, your fasting. So, in terms of that, certain people, like I said, most of them don't understand. You know, it's showing your solidarity, like he says. You know, everybody's not fortunate where they could just go to their refrigerator and eat food any given time, like some of us. You know, even some of the poorest in our country, and you know, I've witnessed it, like going to Jamaica and different other countries like that, third world, what they say, third world
Mm-hmm.
countries, where people don't have the luxury. Some people don't even have electricity, running water. I've seen this stuff with my own eyes, man, and I was just like,
Yeah.
wow. I said, I thought we had it very bad in the hood, the projects, all that. I said, man, they make the project, some of these places make it look like Rodale Drive. You wouldn't even imagine,
Yes.
man. I was just
Wow.
like, oh, I'm looking at all these different brothers and sisters in Jamaica, and they running up to us trying to sell us stuff. And it's like, man, it's like, what if they don't sell something, they don't eat. They ain't got government programs, man. They trying to make it the best way they can. And I was just blown away. You know, but I had to see stuff like that though, you know, to appreciate
Mm-hmm.
things, you know.
Hey, let me ask you something. I'm always, because I'm going to cut this up. Why would individuals demonize and hate and just think Islam is just crazy? If y'all go on the Hajj, it is your obligation to go on a Hajj at least one time in your life. Can you explain why somebody would hate Islam and you going someplace for the sake of Allah? What is Hajj?
Well, Hajj is a pilgrimage that Allah said that we all should take if we can afford it, you know, if we can afford it, you know, once in a lifetime, you know. So it's communing with your brothers, and You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. Now, this is the thing with the people, like I said, everything is an understanding or
Yes.
misunderstanding. And that's the bottom line. Most people don't understand. So a lot of people don't like what they don't understand or what they can't
Yeah.
comprehend. And that's just the bottom line because it's for the good. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely for the good. But somebody that's looking on the outside in, they don't understand. And this is my thing right here, right, bro? Because I remember when I first took my Shahada, right? And I remember being among a Arab brother and an African
Yes.
American brother. And I told him how I was introduced to Islam was through Farrakhan, the nation. You know what I'm saying? I never joined the nation, but that was my precursor to Orthodox Islam. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of, the way it was explained to me, from the secular positions. A lot said it would be 71 seculars of Islam. You know what I'm saying? And my thing was always this: here in the West, Orthodox Islam, I asked a lot. I said, where's the introduction? Because see, usually from an African American standpoint, our introduction is through a lot of these different secular groups, like the Nation,
Rastad.
the Moorish Americans, different ways. That's why a lot of people come through these different channels. You know what I'm saying? And that was just my thing of, because a lot of times if you just try to jump right in it without understanding the cultural thing with the Arabs, a lot of people, black, as African American people like, oh, they trying to be Arab. No, that ain't what we trying to be. We trying to be Muslim,
And you're trying to
and
emulate Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam because he was the
exactly.
perfect example.
I know, but people have that, they have that misconstrued though. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I know a lot of people that be interested, but the one, as soon as the first little thing that, turn them, so to say, turn them off, then, okay, that's why I ain't being a part of that, but they want to know. And some people it's fear that won't allow them to really find out and dig deep into it.
And you know what? So the news media has done everything that they can to extinguish the truth of Islam
Mm,
with falsehood. Okay, because it brings down the walls of the of falsehood. Why has the enemy worked feverishly to to hurt Islam, dropping bombs, dropping pamphlets, having people protest that they pay, saying that Islam is a terrible, bad, evil religion? Why has the enemy done this?
because
COINTELPRO,
because
where they have men that are dressed up that learn about Islam and they get in the mosque and work up the chain of command, and they send in people that are dressed like servicemen to possibly put in a light, put in a furnace, and then they put in little cameras the size of a micro dot in the
mhm,
Islamic mosque. Why have they done this? What have we done?
nothing that, you know what, it threatens society in terms of for the better, what like they said, what's always right ain't good and what's good always ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So me saying that to say Islam poses a threat to certain things that's so-called legal in terms of alcohol. We don't drink alcohol. So if you get everybody to stop drinking alcohol now, you know what I'm saying, people losing money. So a lot of that has to do with financial things that's okay here in the West, in
Haram.
America.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of it. That's a big part
Okay.
of it. You know, that's a very big part of it. So, it's like when it come down to messing with people money, they'll do whatever it takes to try to eradicate the
Mhm.
opposition. And that's part of that. Islam has the answer to all the ills that goes on, but some people, they're okay with functioning with the ills, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what they
Yeah.
used to. But you know what I'm saying? But that's just the thing, and yeah, that's
Money,
just
money, money, money. And you know what, brother? I got
okay.
one more question for you. There is a misconception, and it is intentionally being spread in different places of the media that Islam, subhanAllah ta'ala, was spread by the sword. The Prophet Muhammad forced people into coming to Islam.
No,
Can
never
you
that,
elaborate on that, please?
never that.
Can you
No.
elaborate on that?
Yeah, I can elaborate on it. No, well, it was holy wars like within every other denomination, the Christian crusades and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the Islamic movement, it had its opponents, its enemies. People formed against it because they didn't want to conform with what Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was delivering, and certain people didn't want to get out of their ways that they were, what they was people stuck in their ways, and you know what I'm saying. So he had opposition, people that tried to kill him, him delivering God's message, the whole nine.
Divisive, then. Okay.
So
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, and just like Allah say in the Quran, He says that he don't tell you not to fight. Ain't no turn the other cheek. But if people plan on going to war with you and they receive from it, He tell you to receive from it. So He not just telling you to go around killing nobody. It don't work like that. But this is what they put in the media. Somebody might look in the Quran and see something, and then they run with it, and they don't even get the full gist of what they talking about. And that becomes something bigger than what it really is, because they don't have a full understanding of it, and they not explaining it right. Like he say, even taking in, when you at war and you done took in took in captives and treat them well. He didn't say mistreat nobody. You know what I'm saying? He said, man, don't really harm a hair on their head and then try to give them dower. But yeah.
And it's funny. Like I say, he fought a defensive war, but I would like to know within the news media, why is there not a condemnation, a criticism of what Constantine did? He said had a symbol that was shaped like a cross. He said, "With this symbol, we shall conquer." Why is there not a criticism of Constantine? Why?
Because a lot of people really don't know that part of history. And those that do, they gonna suppress it so the rest of the world don't know, because now you will start people to waking up, you know what I'm saying? And questioning things, versus what we've been taught. A lot of stuff in this society, we was lied to, we was taught wrong, a lot of things. And now, like Allah said, He said in the end, He said the only thing that's gonna live in the end is the truth. And you can see it's emerging now everywhere, everything and everybody, their truth is being revealed.
I'd like to ask you a question. For the Muslims, I would like to ask you this question. There are other
Mm-hmm.
Islamic groups that believe that there are prophets to
Mm-hmm.
come after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they do not believe that Prophet Muhammad is the seal of the prophets that last. Is he the last?
Most
Why you say that?
definitely.
Because there are other groups that believe that there are prophets that come after that came out. Can you explain that?
Yeah, well, the thing about it, he received the revelations of the Quran. The rest of them got it after Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, how could you call yourself a prophet when you piggybacked off of Prophet Muhammad? You understand what I'm saying? Unless you was given the revelation yourself. Now that's the thing. Some people got I guess the thing with prophet and messengers, mixed up. You understand what I'm saying? Some people have that thing mixed up. Not to say, because to a degree we all are made to deliver the message.
Out.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's the purpose of you learning. Like Allah said, every day you should learn. And then what's good to have this knowledge if you don't share this knowledge? You know what I'm saying? That's why it's our duty as Muslims when we learn to share it with others.
Yes.
And that's just the thing. So, like he said, people will take it upon themselves because they might do some great things, and then they start making these titles for
Yes.
themselves.
Yes. And I like to ask you, brother, can you please, we're winding down and people look at the Underground Railroad television show that comes on every Saturday night at 10:30 on YouTube. This will be on YouTube. And buy something from my store, that helps support the Underground Railroad podcast. It's underneath. Make a donation to my PayPal account. I'd like to ask you, brother, please give us your contact information. Tell us about your Facebook, your YouTube, or whatever people use, and whatever you have, whatever you want to plug it, please.
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on Facebook mainly. LaRon Marks on Facebook. Check me out. I'm always posting various amounts of things.
What do they look? What's the name they put in the Facebook to find?
LaRon Marks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. LaRon Marks, LARON MARKS. And I'm always trying to put some educational, inspirational stuff, on my page, to help share some of the knowledge that's been shared with me, And that's what I do. Like right now, I'm in between transitioning to starting up a new foundation to give back and dealing with some of the entertainment I deal in, for the needy. I done had my run out here with doing what I wanted to do and having fun and doing all the stuff. So I want, I've been giving back, but I want to give back more in a bigger way. And Allah have sat me down, and I'm ready. To give back.
Okay. And, I want to say, what? Just don't go to Masjid Al-Faatir on 47th and Woodline. Go to Masjid Al-Farouk at 89th and Stony Island. Manyun at, I think it's at 47th and Calumet. And
No,
MCC.
I'm on 39th.
39th in Calumet.
Right off King Drive, yeah. Right off King Drive.
And you know what? Thanks. And you know what? Support these masjids, and you know what? Investigate Islam. Now, brother, I've been asking you questions for almost an hour. There may be a particular message that you want to say, or something that I didn't give you the opportunity to say. So let me give you the the closing. May have closing comments.
I said pretty much what I said. I guess just hope that we have a successful Ramadan, and I hope this, have gave some people some insight on some things that they didn't know or they had an inclination of, and if it could help them in some kind of way, it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. And again, you know what? I'm humbled that you would take time out to to come on this platform, and you know what? Most certainly, I don't have a million followers. I only have what Allah wants me to have.
Oh yeah,
And so,
if you got one person, hey, that could make it. It
so,
always start with one.
so we're in the present. So there will be people looking at this in the future. So this
Mm-hmm.
is what we were doing on March the 12th. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
of 2025, and you can use this show as a
Okay.
case study where you can sit back and look at what we were talking about. If you're doing something in class, say, what about Islam? This man answered the questions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I humbly say thank you for coming on the Underground Railroad podcast, because you know what, I've been meaning to have you on for a long time, but you know what, it doesn't happen in my time, it happens in our lives.
In the last time, thank you for having me. And I've been watching you for a very long time
Praise
too.
Allah.
CAD TV, all of that, man. I've been watching y'all brothers, man, do y'all thing. I learned a lot from all of that there.
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah, brother. And you know what? After I get certain things, I'm gonna put this on television. Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, I got you. I got you.
Oh no, we ain't gotta say that. Okay, but you know what? So all praises due to Allah.
Yeah.
And the first part, I was like, "Where is he?"
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta say that. I said, "Where is it?" I said, "Some people just don't value your time like."
No,
I
no,
was in
no, never that, man. You know what I'm saying?
the,
It was just whatever. I just had, I had finally got on it because it kept saying something about streaming, right? And I guess it was trying to set me up my own streaming channel or something. And it was saying you couldn't do something. So I mind up trying to move my laptop, man, and the cord came out, and that's when all, broke loose, man. So
I was like, but I did with everything I said, but I did add that everything happens the way Allah wants it to
oh
happen.
yeah, exactly.
I did add that. I did add that to my little tirade, but I said, we plan, but
But
Allah
the
plans.
planners, yeah, he the best of
And
planners.
Allah is the best planner.
Yeah, exactly.
I added that. When you see it, you're going to say, what is this guy talking about? But I'm just used to being on time when I do
Yeah, yeah, I'm a time person too, man. That's why I had called you a little earlier. So, because I never been on this restream thing before. You know what I'm saying? So when like I told you, it kept asking me for passwords and
all you gotta do is just press the Google thing and that's it.
Ah, okay. Well,
yeah. So you know what? So assalamu alaikum to to everybody out there in Ramadan Mubarak and Ramadan Kareem, and you know what? Investigate Islam. Now, I'm not trying to force anybody to do anything because in the Quran it says there's no compulsion in Islam. So, brother, I want to thank you, and brother,
thank
Ramadan Mubarak or Ramadan Kareem, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ramadan Mubarak and wa alaikum salam.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. So I want you to share. I want you to share this. It's on YouTube and other social media platforms. But you know what? I'm going to start doing more shows about Islam, especially because this is Ramadan. But you can not only can you. This is my present. This will be in the future. Okay, for people that see. So if you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, it was to explain Islam. You know what? We're not scholars. We did what we could pay. It's our duty. It's our obligation to give dawah. Giving dawah means inviting people to Islam, not hitting you over the head and forcing you to come to Islam. Oh, this is what you better do because you know what? In the Quran, there's no compulsion in Islam. So I greet you in the words of Assalamu alaikum. To the people in the United States, Africa, Asia, Africa, UK, Islam for 4K for the UK, and all this. I want to just give my salams. Now it's time for me to get ready to make my salats. If Allah allows me to get upstairs. And thank you. And please make a donation to my PayPal account or buy a T-shirt, which is at the bottom, okay? And I got other affiliate links that I'm going to add, but the people that have given me donations, thank you, because it's helped me to grow my platform. But if you can't do none of that, include me in your salats, because you know what? That outweighs everything. Assalamu alaikum. What your grandfather was doing. Any message for your grandchildren? Great.
happen to have known someone who was in the NSA.
Okay.
All right? And they don't know what they'll know now. I've been in their building with him. Did you see it?
Yes, sir.
And they
Some people don't know what NSA.
the National Security Administration. And when I walked up in there and seen them, it's like
Wow.
they got video screens. I mean, from here to 35th Street.
Those street cameras, right?
Those are the screens like you watch on a computer.
Right.
All right? They got a room where they listen to conversations all around the country. All right? That's why I can say what I said.
Scary.
But they let me go because he was an important person. And they figured if he was pregnant, it was all right. All right? They made a mistake, but I never forgot that.
Well, wait a minute, wow.